Yo, what is up, gamers? We're back with episode 7 of the turn-based combat tutorial. I'm gonna actually change up the plan. My plan initially, at the end of last episode, was to do this part of play move, um, the play move phase of the battle. But instead, I decided let's spice things up a little bit. We've been doing a lot of coding and Unity work, so let's go on a field trip today. We're gonna work on this part today. I don't know how far we're gonna get since I haven't really planned this out. My plan was initially for this. But let's just go ahead and dive into it and go for about like 20-30 minutes, see where we end up. So what I'll be doing for attack animations and stuff, we could go into like Blender and model a character really quickly, uh, and do animations and stuff. But I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and in fact, it's something I highly encourage you do. Is just have placeholders in white boxes so you get everything ready, and then drop in your high fidelity prototypes or models or whatever. And to do that, and to make it look not bad, we're going to be borrowing something called Mixamo. Now, some of you may have heard of this before, but Mixamo is completely free to sign up with. And you just have to make an account, and then you have access to a whole repository of characters. You can choose whichever ones you want, as well as animations that are configured to work with each of those characters, since they all are humanoid. You can also upload your own humanoid model, and Mixamo will try its best to auto-rig it, and then you can apply any of the animations here to that model, which simplifies a lot of the animation work that you do with models. And you can get a lot of cool just basic stuff for like NPCs or whatever in your games. So I'm gonna go ahead and in the characters for our players, we could choose like some cool characters and stuff, but I think I'll just stick with Ybot here. And then for our enemies, we'll have Xbot later on, just because they're red. But back in the animations tab, there's a couple things we'll want. So we want some sort of idle. You can see there's a whole host of these. And you can choose what kind of idle you want. You could have like a combat ready idle, like that. We'll download a couple different ones. You could have a super cool guy who just sits in the middle of battle. You could have this for like when they're low on health or whatever, or if they're like taken down or incapacitated, you could have that. It's really up to whatever you want for your game. In fact, I'm going to download a couple of these right now. So you can just click on the animation, it shows you a preview here. You can adjust some of the things here, like the arm space. You can give him a lot of space, make him look like he's celebrating, but I'll just reset him to the default because that looks pretty good. You can also mirror the animation if you want him to look a little bit different. Let's go ahead and download this. And now in the format, you can also select FBX for Unity, which just simplifies a lot of things. You can choose whether or not it comes with the textures applied and stuff. I'm going to have it do that because we don't really have anything to apply. Choose the number of frames per second. I think I'll keep it at 30 for now. That should be fine. And then I'm not exactly sure. Well, this is just like to simplify the amount of specific keyframes there are for like position, rotation, scale, and stuff. But I don't think we need to mess with that. This isn't really a high. We don't need to optimize that yet. So we just go ahead and download those. And let's go ahead and put it in our assets folder. Let's go ahead and create a new folder for models. And in here I'll create player. And here I'll just rename this to idle1 so we can differentiate a little bit. I'll go ahead and make this idle2 with all the same settings. And let's go ahead and name that idle2. And I guess you know what, let's go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and download this one as well. For when they're incapacitated or when their HP is 0, they'll go to this stage here. So let's go ahead and download that, and I'll call it incapacitated or dead or whatever. Fallen, why not? Alright, And then there's a couple things we'll want. Yeah, a few more things we'll want. So we'll want something for when they get hit. So this is a good one for the first idle animation we have. So actually, I'll just go ahead and grab that. That looks pretty good, honestly. Just take that, and then to keep things consistent, we'll do like hit one. Um, and then let's see if we can find one for the other animation as well. A lot of this is just like finding whichever animations you think fit best with your game or character. And this is honestly like kind of the fun part. So, yeah, like you can also grab poses from here, and like do interpolate between them if you'd rather do that. Uh, Actually, this should be fine for just getting hit. Let's go find some attack animations. So I have magic. Let's try and remember what we have in our game. Um, I just pinned that. Did not mean to do that. But combat move. Move type. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and it has a cost. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's just find a couple. So we could try seeing what these look like. Um, so we're gonna have to split things up a little bit. One for melee attacks and one for like casting a spell. And obviously for each move, you'd probably want to, in fact, have like an animation clip here for each move. And that would work better. But I want to kind of generalize. In fact, yeah, maybe we should do that. Yeah, I think that might be a good. Um, yeah, that might be a good exercise. I love when you come up with a plan for a series and you just change it entirely along the way. It's real fun. Um, but animation. I wonder if this will work the way we want it to, though. Yeah, it should work. It should work. I have a couple ideas on how to make it work. So that should be fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and add that in so we can find whichever ones. We can use this as maybe like arranged cast of some sort. Actually, these ones might be better for that. Yeah, and we could have like, yeah, we could have stuff go on for this. Yeah, we'll make this the magic attack, I guess, or like anything that like, yeah, it should work for that. So let's just do like magic one, um, and then we need one for just a melee attack. You can see they have like a whole host of these. Yeah. Where's my mouse? There it is. And we can like really see. I'm trying to look for like a decent um unarmed one because our characters don't have weapons at the moment. Of course, if your characters have weapons, you'd use one of the weapons. Um, let's see. I don't really see anything immediately. It's like the laziest attack. Sorry, I just got distracted. It's like the laziest attack. That might be good for like when they're low on health, they just lose energy or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of like small things you could do to animations to like this might work. I need to give a little bit more arm space. Like wind up. Could also turn the strike height down. Yeah, something like that. keep looking a little bit before we decide on something. Turn up the yeah, something like this. Or we could even just do like one big punch. You never know. Just make them a little bit faster. Yeah, something like this. And I think what we're gonna do is have him run up to the character he's about to punch and then do this. So yeah, alright, let's go with this. Let's do this as melee 1. And I think this should be good enough for now. We'll come back to this page if it turns out we need more. Have him just, start dancing. Yeah, this is really fun, but anyways, let's get back on track. So, okay, so once we go back to Unity, it'll go ahead and import all of these. You can see sort of what it looks like. Now there's a couple things we'll want to do. I think the first, I'm going to use the idle one as our rig baseline. So we're going to want to change the import settings for all of these. So the first thing, I'm going to select one of them, in this case idle 1. I'm going to change it to humanoid, create from this model, and optimize game objects. Now, what optimize game objects does is it just in the hierarchy, there's usually, if you don't click this, there's like a list of transforms for each of the bones in the rig. But this just allows us to get rid of those since we don't really need access to those, except like um, we could like expose the hand if we wanted to give them a sword, or like use that as a reference point to like start a particle to cast a spell. In fact, that would be good to have. But you can always come back and edit those, so I'm not going to worry about it for now until we actually need it. And the avatar has been configured after settings have been applied. Okay, so now for the rest of these, we can go ahead and do humanoid and then copy from other avatar. And we're just going to choose the idle 1 avatar and hit apply. So now they should all be using the same rig, which makes our life a little bit easier. And one thing we will also want to do is, by default, one thing that kind of sucks is that the animation imports with the name mixamo.com for each of these. So we're going to want to make sure we know exactly which clips we want. So I'll go ahead and type in idle 1 there. We want the idle to loop, so I will do that. And then this is if you want root motion enabled, which we may or may not. In fact, we do want. So I'll configure those in a sec. But for now, let's go through and rename all of these. And idle 2 should also be looped. And magic 1 should not be looped. Let's go ahead and change its name. And melee 1 as well. Okay, and then just these two. So fallen and hit 1. And this one. Alright. Now that we've got that tedious stuff out of the way, we can start working on animation controllers and stuff, which is really fun stuff. So in fact, I'll just do it out here. Let's create a folder as well to stay organized. Animator controllers. And in here, we'll create an animator controller for the player. And I'm going to add this base suffix just because we're going to use override controllers, so we can customize animations for each character. So let's go ahead and open this up in our animator tab, and we're greeted with this animator window with a list of layers and parameters. Layers are super cool. I don't know if we'll be using them, but you can use them to like adjust weights of you can use avatar masks and stuff to adjust weights of like bones so that some stuff doesn't move as much as others. But we're not going to worry about that for now. We don't really need to worry about layers. So instead, we're just going to go ahead and create uh, all of the. So we're going to go in here. We're basically just going to. Actually, we don't need. Yeah, we don't need idle too. We're going to go and drag those in here. Now, oh yeah, it occurs to me we need to like actually. So we do need one more animation I forgot about. So we need something for them to move up to their to the person they're attacking. So we just find some sort of nice could have the Naruto run. That's pretty good. Um you could find something just conveys the sense of urgency, like I need to beat this person up. Honestly, the standard run might just be good enough. We could have him dive into a run. Yeah, like this. Although that's kind of off into some distance. Let's see. Quick roll to run. This is kind of what we're looking for. Hmm. Yeah, we could download this in like a running animation as well. Yeah, it really depends on how you want to set up their approach to the enemy. Because here there's distance between the characters, so like have him roll and run up and punch, or do something to get this combo or melee attack going. Um, so let's see, how do we want to do this? Yeah, I think just let's keep it simple. You could have you could have a bunch of like transitions and stuff, but for now we're just gonna keep this run, and we'll check in place, and you can adjust, you know, how much you want them to be, you know. There we go, something like that. Uh, you could have it be comical as well. They just sprint up, but I think we'll just leave that be. Um, yeah, I don't know. That should be fine. Whatever. Let's get back to what we need to do. I'll go ahead and make a run. Okay, and we're gonna need to really quickly fix the import settings of this as well. Go ahead and use the humanoid rig. Copy from the idle one avatar. And in the animations, let's go ahead and rename this to run. And we do want it to loop, so I will apply that. Okay, now back to our animator. We want this to be the layer default state, the idle. So this will just be, so it'll just be idling until we decide to do whatever we decide to do. So we have a couple things here. Now we have, what is it? We have 4 options for a melee attack. Or not melee attack, but like we have 4 options that the player can do, each of them with their own attack. Um, so in fact, yeah, we should just create placeholder states for those. Um, and hold on, how do we want to do this? Because what we have, when our player is selecting, they have 4 moves, and each of them have their own animation clip. So I'm thinking what we do instead is we we have our melee and our magic attack. We'll also drag in our run here, so we have that. This will happen whenever we're dead, so we'll just create a bool is dead, and then this we can uncheck that and add the condition that is dead is true, and we can check how the transition looks here. And then the idle we can slow down. I don't know why it's so sped up, but in fact we could make the transition a lot better by doing something like this. You can check how the transition looks as well. And ideally you'd want a different animation in between these two to like actually have them fall, but we're not going to worry about that. I feel like we spent too long with this episode already searching for animations. Idle 1, so another thing is when we get hit, so add another bool for, or actually we should do a trigger. Let's do a trigger for hit, or I don't know, hit. We'll make a transition to here, and then this will loop back once it is done. Well, actually no, so this should only happen when is dead is false. And then the same thing for this, we'll make a transition back. And this will just so the thing with the trigger, you set it once, the transition happens. And the nice thing about turn-based combat is we know that they'll always be in the idle state when they're not performing an action. So when they get hit, they will be in the idle state. So that's why we only need to have a transition from here. Otherwise, we'd have to worry about any state, but we don't need to. And we can check how that transition looks. Pretty good, I'd say. Just the default like one that Unity gave us. So we do want to slow down the hit animation probably. I don't know why everything got sped up by, oh, it's because 30 frames per second maybe. Yeah, I think that's fine. As well as this, we can go ahead and set the hit trigger, and we'll uncheck has exit time so that it immediately transitions or interrupts the idle. Okay, and so now we need to figure out how we're gonna handle yeah, so the way I think we want to do this then is have for, like, we'll have move 1, move 2, and we'll just go ahead and duplicate these, why not? And then this will rename to move 3, and this will have move 4. So, and then here we'll set up an integer that'll tell us which move we're using. Move type, I guess, yeah. Or no, that should not be move type. That's something else we're gonna be. Our move index. And we'll need to transition from this as well. And so let's create an empty attack state here. Actually, do we even need this? So one thing we could do, yeah, one thing I think the way we should do this is have, it's kind of tedious, but probably the best way to sort of organize this, is we'll have a should we have? Yeah, we'll have a is melee boolean, and then we'll transition to this if is melee is true. Otherwise, we'll want to transition to these because it's a magic attack and we can just play those. So, and then if it's not, then we can do transition. So if it's a melee attack, then we can work on transitions. Okay, yeah. Let's slow down the run animation a little bit. Um, yeah. Okay. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think once this is done playing as well, um, we'll just have them run back to idle. I didn't think about that. How are we gonna have him return? You know what? Let's just be clever about it with cameras. We'll worry about it later. We can always add another animation or have it go back that way, but I think for now we'll just have it do this. And then this we want it to happen if the move index is equal to 3. And this to happen if the move index is equal to 2. And we want this to happen if the move index is equal to 1. And finally, this to happen if the move index is equal to 0. And let's go ahead and make transitions back as well. Okay. And now the other thing we need to do is if it isn't melee, we can go ahead and make a transition for each of these, and that'll be on the condition that is melee is false. And we also need a trigger or boolean to tell us when we're attacking, so it doesn't just immediately just immediately transition to the attack. So for this, we'll use a bool. I'll call it is attacking, and then we'll need to apply the same thing to this transition here to run. We'll do is attacking is true. Okay, so back on this transition from idle to move, we'll go ahead and add that is attacking must be true, and is melee must be false, and also that the move index is equal 1. And so we basically need these same 3 conditions for each of these while modifying move index. And then it's automatically set up to go back once the animation's done playing. So we don't need to worry about that. So we just need move index to be equal to 0. We need is attacking to be true, and we need is melee to be false. Okay, 2 more times. People in the back. Let's get those 3 things that we need. Move index must be equal to 2. It must be attacking, and it must not be melee. And last one. Let's go ahead and add those 3 components. Move index must be 3. Must be is attacking, and must not be melee attack. So that's how we're deciding between using a melee attack or not. There's probably a way better way to do this. In fact, I'll probably think of it later and then edit it in a future episode. But for now, this should work as our base controller. So let's go ahead. I don't know how long I've been recording for, but hopefully this doesn't turn into too long of a part. Let's go ahead and try and set this up with, or maybe I might do that next episode. Yeah, I think we've done a bunch of work this episode. Let's see. This has a combatant stats, and it doesn't really do much yet. In fact, let's set up the animated controller. Let's not actually get it to work yet. And then let's go ahead and just assign all the animation clips as well. I realize we need to do this. I think all the players share the same moves, so I'll just do this. One. Go ahead and get the player in here as well. Uh, this should be magic 1. In fact, oh, I forgot about AoE melee. Whatever. We'll just use the magic for that. And this one is also a magic attack. Okay. And then for the enemies, the big sad is definitely a magic attack. This I don't even. What was I thinking when I made these? Okay. Generic attack. That's probably melee. You know what? Let's make trap card. Magic as well. Why not? Okay. So we have all of those set up. So now let's go ahead and we'll make this require component type of animator, and we'll go ahead and swap out our so on all of these, let's go ahead and add an animator, and let's go ahead and get rid of this mesh renderer stuff as well as this capsule stuff. That component we don't need. We'll keep the capsule collider. And now what we're gonna do is, I shouldn't have done that for the enemies yet, huh? Let's bring those back. So for the players, for now, let's go ahead and delete all of the stuff that makes them look like a capsule. And instead, let's go ahead into our models, player, idle 1, drag that under player. Okay. And let's rotate him by negative 90 degrees so he's looking the right way. And we're basically going to want to do the same thing for each of these guys. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and rotate by negative 90 so they're looking the right way. And then for player, we'll go ahead and drag our idle 1 in. Oh, wait, whatever. I think this will work. Actually, we don't need the animator, do we? So let's go back here, because the idle thing already has an animator on it, so let's go ahead and just remove animator component. Okay, small mistakes here and there makes the, yeah, anyways, what else do we need? Right, so let's go ahead and make our override controller really quickly. Let's just create a animator override controller, and this will be our, what is it called? Our player controller. Okay, and then for each of these, let's go ahead and drag the player controller in. Oh, whoops. Yeah, we need to assign that we're overriding this controller. And then let's go ahead and assign this. And then for our fallen, we'll use our fallen and hit 1. Some of these don't really change. So it should be fine. It also occurs to me that we do need different attack animations. So we'll go ahead and download those really quickly and then call it an episode. So idle 1 should be this. What is idle? Hold on. Where is this? Oh, that's the menu option idle. That's right. Magic 1, melee, 1, and run can be run. So the reason why we need 2 more is because yeah, we need just 2 more attack animations. So I'll go ahead and look for those really quickly. Does this look any good? Eh. This would be really good if you could like use the IK stuff for like have your enemy actually get taken down. But hmm. Yeah, you know, let's just go with the zombie attack. Why not? Download that. Call it melee 2. And let's go ahead and just search up magic. Yeah, that's good enough. And we'll call that magic 2. And of course, it doesn't really matter uh, what these are named in the animator override controller, because they're going to be overwritten by the moves that we, or the animation clips that we gave in the combat moves. Um, so let's go ahead and do that. Hit apply, and then for each of these, go ahead and rename this to melee 2. Hit apply, and magic 2, and apply. Okay. So really quickly in the animator, let's go ahead and drag these two in. Or no, instead of dragging those in, what we can do, this is using magic 1, this is using melee 1. We'll just have this use magic 2, and this use melee 2. And the reason that'll work is because if we now go to our override controller, you'll see that we have now space for 2 more clips. And I'll just use the ones that we assigned. And we'll eventually overwrite these via code, since we know which animations we actually want with each attack. Yeah, there we go. That should be it for this episode. Next episode, we'll hook up the animator and actually get them moving, hopefully, with code during each of their attacks. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in part 8.